My dad paid me $100 after I helped cater all day. My mom saw it and said, "Give that to me." She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You don't deserve that. You're just a kid living off us." I choked back tears and said, "I just wanted to buy something for myself, for once." 3 days later, I found my backpack rummaged through and the rest of the money was gone. Now she's asking me to help pay for groceries. Come on, sweetheart. We're struggling. Hi Reddit, throwaway for obvious reasons. I'm a teenager still living at home and lately I've been trying to be more independent. This happened a couple weeks ago and I'm still kind of reeling from it, so I wanted to get some outside opinions. My dad runs a small catering business. Nothing fancy. Mostly community events, church things, graduation parties. Every once in a while, if he's short-staffed, I help him out. He pays me in cash, usually just a flat amount depending on how long or tough the job is. So a couple weekends ago, he booked this huge outdoor event. Some nonprofit was doing a big luncheon thing, and they were expecting over 500 people. His usual helpers weren't available, so he asked if I could come along. I said yes. I woke up at 6 a.m., which for me is like pulling teeth. I'm not a morning person. We got there around 7, and I basically hit the ground running. We had trays and trays of food to prepare and stage. I was slicing veggies, arranging cheese platters, moving coolers around, and stacking chairs before people even started arriving. I barely stopped to eat. My dad was running around like a madman, so I ended up doing more than I usually do. At some point, I realized it was past 1 p.m., and I hadn't even sat down yet. We didn't finish cleaning and packing up until after 4:30. When we got home, my dad handed me a $100 bill, just said, "Thanks for today. I couldn't have done it without you." I was tired, sore, and honestly, really proud. Like, I earned that. I worked a full day, busted my ass, didn't complain. I even wore one of the gross branded polos he makes the staff wear. It's yellow, like highlighter yellow. Anyway, maybe 20 minutes after we got back, I go to grab a snack and my mom spots the $100 sticking out of my back pocket and everything just went sideways. She immediately squints at me and goes, "Where did you get that from?" I told her dad gave it to me for helping with the catering, and she just stared at me like I said I stole it or something. "$100?" she says. "That's way too much. You don't need that much money." I told her I worked from 7 to 4:30 and that I earned it. It wasn't a gift. I worked for it. She goes, "Still, you're just a helper, not a real employee. You should give that to me so it's not wasted." I kind of laughed. Not because it was funny, just because I didn't even know how to respond. "Wasted?" I asked. "On what? Snacks and hygiene products?" She didn't appreciate the sarcasm. She says, "You live under my roof. That money should go back to the family." And that's where I snapped a little. I said, "And I just helped feed 500 people today. I think I can keep one bill without it being seen as a crime." We just stood there staring at each other. She didn't say anything else, just walked away all stiff and dramatic, like I'd insulted her personally. But here's the part that really messed with my head. My dad, who gave me the money, later comes in and says maybe I should just give it back so it doesn't cause problems. He literally handed it to me knowing I earned it. And now he's like, "Well, your mom is upset and it's not worth the drama." I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just nodded and walked away. But I felt like crap. It's not about the $100. I don't go out much. I'm not buying designer clothes or anything. I mostly just wanted to feel like I had something that was mine. I was planning to buy a couple books I've been waiting on and save the rest. Now I feel like I'm being told I'm selfish for not handing it over to the family. Which really just means my mom. For what, though? I'm not charging rent. I'm not asking them to buy me expensive stuff. I just want to be able to earn and keep something. I know I live at home. I know I don't pay bills. But does that really mean I don't deserve to keep anything I earn? AETA for not giving my mom the money I earned? Edit. Wow. I didn't expect this to blow up overnight. Thanks to everyone who commented. There were a lot of really supportive messages and also some pretty sobering ones. I'll try to answer a few questions in a follow-up. And yeah, some stuff did happen after this post. I'll update soon. Update. Hey again, it's been about 2 weeks since I posted, and I wanted to give an update because, well, a few things happened. Nothing huge yet, but enough that it's still bugging me. And I'm not sure how long I can keep this up without losing it a little, so yeah, I didn't give the $100 back. I thought about it. Not because I thought I was wrong, but because the energy in the house just got weird. My mom didn't bring it up again outright, but she started being super passive-aggressive. Like suddenly, I'm being asked to contribute more around the house because I have money now. She's telling me I should chip in for groceries or start paying for my own laundry detergent, even though she's never said anything like that before. I'm not against helping, I already do chores, but it felt like a punishment. Like she was saying, if you want to act like an adult, then get ready to be treated like one. Which is funny, because I'm not allowed to be treated like one in any other context. Anyway, here's what I ended up doing. I took like $20 of it and went to this little secondhand bookstore downtown the day after I posted. I'd had a couple of titles on my wish list forever, and I found both of them, used, good condition, under $10 each. It was honestly one of the best afternoons I've had in a while. I sat at the bus stop with my little paper bag of books and just felt free. I know that sounds dramatic for 20 bucks, but it hit me hard. Like, this is mine. I worked for this. No one can say I didn't earn it. When I got home, I told my mom I'd spent the whole $100. Just flat out lied. I hated doing it, but I'd been paranoid all day. She'd try to take it or go through my stuff. She's done that before. Like if I leave my room messy, she'll use it as an excuse to clean, and I'll find things moved or missing. Once, a $10 Target gift card I got for my birthday just disappeared. She didn't say much, just kind of made a face and muttered, "Of course you wasted it already. Whatever." The rest of the money, I tucked it inside a library copy of Lord of the Flies that I'd borrowed for school. It was due in 2 weeks, so I figured she wouldn't go snooping in it. I know that's dumb and risky, but I didn't know where else to put it. We don't have locks on our doors, and I don't have a wallet or anything she wouldn't open. I was tempted to give it to my friend to hold on to, but I didn't want to drag anyone else into this. Since then, things have been awkward. My mom is cold, not angry, not yelling, just weirdly formal. She'll remind me that extras like snacks or hair products are on me now. My dad hasn't said anything, which somehow feels worse. The other day, my mom said she misses when I was more grateful. That stung. I don't think I've ever not been grateful. I just wanted one thing, one little thing to be mine. I keep thinking, if $100 causes this much drama, what happens when I get a real job? Anyway, I haven't told anyone in real life about this. I'm probably going to keep quiet for now, but I'm trying to figure out a way to stash small amounts of cash without feeling like I'm running some underground smuggling ring in my own house. If anything else happens, I'll post again. But yeah, I'm still sitting with that feeling from the bus stop, the bookstore smell, the crinkle of the paper bag. It made me want more days like that, not the chaos. Just the independence. Edit. Someone asked why I don't open a bank account. I actually tried to bring that up once, and my mom said it was unnecessary and that I wasn't responsible enough yet. I'm not even sure how I'd go about doing it without her knowing, but now I'm seriously thinking about figuring it out anyway. If anyone has tips, DM me or drop them in the comments. Update 2. Hey again. I didn't think I'd be back this soon, but something happened earlier this week that's made me realize this whole thing might not just blow over like I hoped. So, remember how I said I hid the rest of the money in my school copy of Lord of the Flies? Well, I went to get it Tuesday night, and it was gone. Not the book. The book was still there, still in my backpack, still had my stupid sticky notes in the margins and everything, but the money I tucked in the back cover was missing. Clean gone. Not even a wrinkle left behind. At first I thought maybe I moved it and forgot. I tore my room apart, checked between other books, in drawers, under the bed. Nothing. No one else has access to my stuff except my parents. I don't have siblings and I haven't had friends over in weeks. Here's where it gets weird. Nothing else was touched. Not my backup schoolwork folder, not my earbuds, not even the couple of coins I keep on my desk, just the cash. I asked my mom, super casually, like, "Hey, did you see a 20 I might have dropped or something?" And she just raised her eyebrows and went, "No, why, are you already broke again?" The way she said it, it wasn't even sarcastic. It was smug. I didn't push it because, honestly, I already knew. I don't have proof, but I know. I've lived in this house long enough to recognize when something's being held over my head. Since then, she's been acting extra chirpy, calling me big spender when I ask for seconds at dinner, saying things like, "It's a good thing I manage the bills around here," even asking me if I've learned my lesson about how to handle money responsibly. I haven't said anything to my dad. I don't know if he knows or not. I don't even know how to bring it up without it turning into a he said, she said, and making things worse. He hasn't asked me about the money again, so maybe he assumes I gave it back, or maybe he just doesn't want to know. But I feel completely invaded. Like, even when I try to protect my stuff, it doesn't matter. I've never had a safe space in this house, not really. But this was supposed to be mine. Something I earned, something I hid just to feel safe. And now it's just gone. And I know some people reading this will say, "It was just $80, let it go." But it's not about the amount anymore. It's about trust, or lack of it. It's about how fast everything I had pride in got flipped into something shameful. I'm trying to stay calm. I really am. But it feels like I'm being gaslit in slow motion. I think I need a new plan. Edit. I didn't report the missing money to anyone. Some of you asked that. I just don't feel like I'll be taken seriously. My mom has a way of flipping things until I'm the problem, and I've seen my dad shut down in the middle too many times. I'm seriously considering looking for a part-time job now, though. Something I can do after school or on weekends where I get paid not in cash, even if it's minimum wage, even if it's just a few hours. Just something that puts a wall between me and this house, even if it's small. Update 3. Hey Reddit, so things kind of blew up this weekend. My dad had another catering job lined up, smaller than the last one. Maybe 200 guests. He asked me earlier in the week if I could help out again, and I told him I'd think about it. He said he really needed me, since one of his regulars had a scheduling conflict, and I'd already done great last time. And honestly, a part of me wanted to go. I like helping him. I like feeling useful, but I also hadn't forgotten what happened last time. Getting paid, the money disappearing, my mom's weird behavior. So I made a decision. I told him I would help, but only if he paid me up front. I rehearsed it in my head a dozen times. I figured if I said it calmly and respectfully, it would be okay. But the second the words came out of my mouth, he just froze. Then he frowned and said, "Why are you talking like that? We're family. Don't make this transactional." And I said, "Last time I helped, I didn't get to keep what I earned. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen again." He was quiet for a second, then sighed and said something like, "I thought we were past this. Your mom and I talked. We agreed that you should have some spending money, but you also need to learn how to be responsible. And part of that means not making a big deal out of every dollar." That made me really mad. I said, "This isn't about every dollar. This is about my dollar. I worked 9 hours last time. Then I got gaslit, guilt-tripped, and apparently robbed." He didn't respond to that part, just rubbed his face like he was stressed and said, "I'll figure something out." That was Friday. On Saturday morning, the day of the event, he left without me. No explanation, just walked past my room like I wasn't there. Later that afternoon, my mom came into my room and said, "So, you're not helping your dad now? Guess money really does change people." I didn't even look at her. I just said, "You changed it first." She didn't like that, gave me the silent treatment for the rest of the day, which honestly was a gift. It sucks. I feel like I did the right thing by setting a boundary. I didn't yell, I wasn't rude, I just made a condition based on what already happened, but now it's like I'm being punished for it. Again, the worst part, I kind of miss working with my dad. I liked being part of something, even if it was chaotic and exhausting. I liked the drive home after, the shared sense of, hey, we did that, but now it just feels tainted. Like I have to choose between being respected and being included. It's such a weird thing to grieve, but that's where I'm at. Edit. I'm getting a lot of DMs and comments asking if I'd consider talking to a school counselor or teacher. I'm thinking about it. I've never really brought home stuff into school before. It feels awkward, but maybe it's time. I'm starting to see this isn't just about one argument over money. There's a pattern here, and I'm exhausted trying to keep peace while also protecting myself. Update 4. Hey again. Reddit? I wasn't planning to update this soon, but I guess life has other plans. So, after everything that happened with the second catering event, getting iced out by both my parents, the weird guilt trips, and the silence, I realized I couldn't keep playing this game where I'm trying to earn independence from people who don't want to give it. So I went looking. There's a little bakery about a 15-minute walk from my school. They had a handwritten sign taped in the window that said, "Part-time help wanted. Flexible hours." It wasn't flashy, just a cozy mom-and-pop shop that sells bread, pastries, and those big, dense cinnamon rolls that somehow weigh 5 pounds. I went in after school, asked for the manager, and told her I was looking for after-school work. I didn't oversell myself. I just said I was willing to learn and show up on time. She seemed surprised I wasn't with my parents, but also kind of impressed. She asked if I could come in Saturday morning to trial a shift. Long story short, I got the job. It's minimum wage, but it's hourly, and I fill out a timesheet and I get paid via check. They do everything legit. I worked 5 hours last Saturday, mostly cleaning counters, restocking trays, and learning how the register works. My feet were killing me by the end, but I left feeling so good, like something clicked into place. I didn't tell my parents. I know that sounds sketchy, but I just didn't want to give them a chance to shoot it down or twist it. I figured I'd tell them once I had a couple shifts under my belt and my first check in hand. I thought if I could prove I was doing it on my own, maybe they'd react better. They didn't. They found out because my mom happened to be driving past the bakery that afternoon and saw me inside through the front window. That night was chaos. She didn't wait to talk in private. She brought it up at dinner in front of my dad while I was mid-bite. "So," she says, "anything you want to tell us?" I already knew. I just said, "I got a job." She goes, "A job you didn't discuss with us. You're sneaking around now?" I said, "I'm not sneaking. I'm working. I'm learning how to be independent, like you keep telling me to." She laughed, not even in a funny way, like bitter, sharp, mean. "Independent? You're still under this roof, and now you think you can do whatever you want without asking?" I stayed calm. I said, "It's after school. It's not interfering with anything. I'm getting paid through a bank, not in cash. That's what you wanted, right?" She got quiet for a second, then said, "I want a child who doesn't lie to me." My dad didn't say anything, just kept eating like the floor wasn't cracking underneath us. So now it's out. I'm working 2 shifts a week, and my mom is being ice cold. She hasn't banned me from working, but she's made it clear she's not happy about it. She keeps dropping passive-aggressive comments like, "Maybe you'll be too tired for your homework now," or Let's see how long that lasts once you realize real jobs aren't fun. Honestly, I don't care. I'd rather mop bakery floors and deal with sticky counters than feel like I'm being watched 24/7 in my own house. The manager gave me a blank direct deposit form today. I don't have a bank account yet, but I'm going to figure it out. Maybe I'll ask my school counselor for advice after all. I've had enough of hiding. Edit. A lot of you have suggested online-only bank accounts or credit unions that don't require a parent on file for teens 16 and up. Thank you. Genuinely, I didn't even know that was a thing. I've bookmarked a few to look into when I have a quiet hour alone. I think this might be my way out. Not tomorrow, not dramatically, but eventually. Update 5. I didn't want to post again this soon, but I need to get this out. I feel like I'm losing my mind a little. So, a few days after my last post, I left my backpack on my bedroom floor before showering. I'd had a shift earlier that day, and I'd put the envelope with my check stub and deposit form in one of the inner pockets. Dumb move, maybe. But I'd been running late and figured it would be safe. I always zip my bag shut. When I came back from my shower, my bag was open. The zipper was down. One of the side pouches was halfway unzipped too. I just stood there, staring at it. I knew she'd gone through it. At first I didn't say anything. I checked. My papers were still there. But they'd been moved. I always fold them a certain way and keep them at the bottom of the sleeve. They were now sitting on top. Definitely touched. Definitely looked at. I confronted her later that evening, which I've never done before, not directly. I asked, "Did you go through my backpack?" She blinked like she didn't expect me to ask. Then she said, "Excuse me?" I said, "You heard me. You opened my bag. I didn't give you permission." And she goes, "Well, maybe you shouldn't be hiding things from your mother. If I had to check to make sure you weren't doing something reckless, that's my right." I lost it. Not yelling, just shaking. The kind where your voice cracks and your hands don't know what to do. I said, "You don't get to demand trust while treating me like a criminal. I'm working. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not skipping school. I'm just trying to survive this house without feeling like everything I touch gets taken." She got this cold, sharp look on her face. Said, "You wouldn't need to hide things if you weren't being so secretive and selfish lately." And that broke me. Because here's the thing. I'm not selfish. I buy my own deodorant. I pay for my school lunches now. I used part of my first check to get my friend a birthday gift because I couldn't ask for money at home without hearing about it for a week. I'm just trying to have something of my own. So I said it. I said, "If being selfish means not letting you control me, then maybe I am selfish." She didn't answer, just walked away. I went back to my room and cried. For a long time. Not just because of that moment, but because it felt like every version of normal I'd hoped for is just gone. That night, I took my deposit form and my check stub, folded them into my math notebook, and packed a small bag. Not to run away, but to be ready. I'm not sure for what yet. Maybe to stay with a friend for a night if it gets worse. Maybe just to feel like I have a choice. I emailed my school counselor this morning, asked if we could talk next week about job resources, bank accounts, and maybe, what emancipation even means. I don't know if I'd ever actually go through with something like that, but just knowing what my rights are feels like a start. I'm tired of playing defense. Edit. To the person who messaged me saying, "You sound calm, but you're in survival mode." Thank you. That hit harder than I expected. I don't want to live my life flinching all the time. I want to feel safe on purpose, not just lucky. Final update. Hey Reddit, I wasn't sure if I'd ever come back with a final update, but after everything, I think this is the closest I've gotten to a real turning point. So, I did it. I opened a bank account. Last week, after school, I went with my counselor's help to a local credit union that works with teens. She gave me the contact info for someone there and said they were good at walking students through it. I made an appointment, filled out the paperwork, handed over my ID, and deposited the check I'd been holding onto like it was made of gold. It's not a huge amount, but it's mine, and no one else can touch it. No one else knows about it. For the first time in my life, I have money that isn't under someone else's thumb. I didn't realize how physically different that would feel. Like I could breathe for real. I didn't tell my mom. I'm not going to. She still makes comments like, "You can't do everything on your own, and one day you'll realize how much you needed us." But I think what she doesn't get is, I'm not trying to cut them off. I just want space to build something for myself. My dad still hasn't brought anything up. We talk occasionally, and sometimes it almost feels normal. But I don't think he knows how to stand up to her, and I've stopped waiting for him to try. I still have the job at the bakery. My manager offered me an extra shift over winter break, and I said yes. I used the tips to buy small things. Bus passes, snacks, school supplies. I've started keeping a list of things I want to save up for. Not big things. Just goals, a used laptop, new shoes, maybe a cheap lockbox for my room, even if it's symbolic at this point. I'm not moving out, I'm not emancipating, I'm still here. But I'm building something under the surface, brick by brick, so that when I do go, whether it's college, a job, or just an apartment far away, I'll be ready. It's not perfect. It's still tense at home, and I still flinch sometimes when I hear footsteps outside my door. But I also got my first text alert from the bank the other day. Just a low balance notification, and I smiled like an idiot, because that was mine. A dumb little message, but It meant I was finally on a different track. I don't know who I'll become yet, but for the first time, I believe I'll get to decide. Edit. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who commented, messaged, or just upvoted this story. You made me feel seen during a time I felt invisible. I know I'm not out of the woods, but I've got a map now. That's something.